Hey guys, welcome to the Introvert Dating Success Show. I'm your host, Harry Wilmington. This is my first live show that I've done in almost over a year. And I wanted to do a live show for a while now, honestly, because I want to do longer shows and I want to be able to do shows that I can then divide up into shorter segmented shows for my YouTube channel. So if you listen to this on the podcast, this show is going to seem very, very long. It might run close to an hour. When I divide it up for YouTube purposes, it'll be a shorter show. But I want to do that because honestly, I want to be able to give you guys the same amount of content, but I want to be able to just basically record all my content at one time and then divide it out during the week versus filming during the week when I have other stuff going on. So I can still bring you the same content and the same great stuff I've been bringing you, but it'll be a little bit more focused. I'll be able to do 3 topics per show. And so you'll see how today's show is lined up. It'll pretty much be how all the shows are lined up from now on, whereby these longer shows, you'll hear 3 topics. And then during the course of the week, I'll be dropping on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the various 3-parted segments onto these various platforms. Okay. So hopefully you'll enjoy this show. As always, if you guys ever have any questions you want to ask me, you can write to me at harrywilmington@gmail.com. Also, I'll be doing these live shows on Sundays. So if you happen to catch a live show, you can actually leave your questions in the chat stream and I will be happy to answer any of those questions during the show because ultimately this show is about you guys. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can go to youtube.com/Harry Wilmington, subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified on Sundays when I'm doing these live shows, as well as you'll be notified during the course of the week when I'm posting up the individual videos for the various segments that I talk about. All right. If you're watching this on YouTube, hi, I'm Harry Wilmington. I give dating advice to men, specifically introverted men, but it can be used for other men as well. Be sure to subscribe so you can get notified when I put up videos. Also, for those of you that are new to my podcast, regardless of where you're listening to it, I put up more than just advice videos on my YouTube page. I have a lot of other entertaining videos that I'm starting to put up, things that still are in the realm of dating, but just are entertaining. Some of them have different characters and stuff in them. So that's all the stuff that's going on at my actual YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, again, youtube.com/Harry Wilmington. Also, I do have a website. It is Introvert Dating Success, where I have ebooks, audiobooks. I have various programs and stuff that are all designed to help you learn to date as your introverted self while still getting your alone time. If you have not checked that out, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. I got a lot of great freebies at the website as well as some paid stuff. But ultimately, my goal is to help you guys out to have a really good dating life. In my young years, I didn't necessarily have that all the time. So I want to make sure I'm able to give you the advice that's going to give you an advantage in the dating world and basically jump you way ahead of where I was at years ago before I knew what I know now. Okay. So with that said, on today's show, we're going to talk about these 3 things. First, I'm going to give you guys a very important lesson about why it is you never want to delay your plans to do stuff with women who have either borderline low to no interest. Then I'm going to go into the meat of the show, which is the 7 ways to tell if a woman is truly interested in you versus just stringing you along. That way, if you have women that you're dating that you're wondering, is this person really for me or are they just using me for attention? You'll be able to know that by the end of this show. And then I'm going to answer a question of the day that I actually got from somebody on Reddit, like legitimately messaged me and wanted my help. And I've been messaging this guy back and forth all week, giving him answers to some questions. By the way, if you hear any noise outside, it's because I'm recording this in my studio, but it's my home studio. So cars like to drive by here at night. It gets kind of weird. Okay. So anyway, all that said, let's go ahead and get to the show. So I want to talk to you guys today about why it's important that you never delay your plans to do stuff with women who are either showing borderline no interest or they're low interested. Okay. Because here's the thing, as a guy, if you meet a woman and you find her attractive and you want to date her, your interest level is going to be high, so high that you may actually get blinded and not really be able to see just if this woman likes you or not. And a lot of times too, we're going to project onto the people that we like how much we like them. So if you have a heightened level of like for a woman, for example, you're going to project that onto her and think, well, she must also like me. And that can be like just a woman friend of yours that you're hanging out with. All of a sudden you start feeling that vibe, oh, I like her. And then you start possibly misreading things, or you're saying, well, she hangs out with me all the time, so she must like me also. And in the course of that, women will definitely be either throwing out signals that they're interested or throwing out signals that they just see you as a friend and they don't want you to pursue any further. But you can't, if you were getting that vibe that maybe she's just seeing this in the friendship realm, what you don't want to do is make the mistake of thinking that if you plan certain kinds of dates or do certain kinds of actions or say certain kinds of things, that they're going to just suddenly flip and switch. And this is extra important when you're trying to potentially plan stuff that you think, oh, this would be a great thing for me and her to experience together. Maybe this will heighten her interest. And I want to go to do this thing, but I'm going to wait and make sure that she says yes to it before I plan it. So I want to give you guys a lesson in that because I had this happen many, many years ago. Okay. Back in 2011, 2012, I think it was 2011, the artist that is now deceased, who goes by the name of Prince. All right. Prince came to LA. And I don't know if he was smoking something or he just had this out of the mind idea to do this, but he decided to have a concert at the Forum, which I lived exactly one neighborhood over from. Okay. So Prince decided to have a set of concerts for like a month or two at the Forum, and he was only charging $25. To put that in perspective, Prince is a legendary artist. He made Purple Rain. He's had classic albums. He's a well-known musician, and tickets to his shows are typically very, very pricey. So the fact that they were going for just $25 in 2011 money was very impressive. And I had never seen Prince before. I was a fan of his music, and I wanted to see him live. And at the time, there was a woman friend of mine who I admittedly kind of had a little crush on. And so I thought it would be a great idea to be able to go to this concert with her. And she had said that she'd wanted to go. She expressed interest in going. So I said to her one day, I said, hey, I'm thinking of going to this Prince concert. I would love for you to go with me. And her response was, okay, that sounds great, but I don't get paid until next week or whatever. So don't get the tickets until Sunday or Monday. I'll let you know by then if I can go or not. So I think I hit her up on like a Wednesday. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, it sounds like she's probably going to go, and I'm hoping tickets will still be available by then. All right. So this is Wednesday. I didn't hear from her Thursday. I didn't hear from her Friday. I didn't hear from her Saturday. I didn't hear from her Sunday. I had to text her on Sunday to see if she was going to go to this show. I get a response from her on Monday that she's decided she can't go. She can't afford it, whatever. And I guess in hindsight, I probably could have been the guy that just sprung the 25 and said she can just pay me back. At least I would have gotten tickets. But I didn't do that because I was keeping her to her word that she was going to go to this thing. She didn't decide to go. At that point, I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get myself a ticket. And the tickets were sold out. All because I was waiting for this woman who I thought may possibly want to go out with me and thought would possibly want to do some kind of date activity with me, that canceled. And the sad part is I thought to myself at the time, well, I missed out on this time, but I guess the next time Prince comes to town, I can get a ticket. And a few years later, he died. And I never got to see Prince live. So why do I bring this up? Because there are some of you guys that are watching this or listening to this on the podcast right now that have a woman in your life that you may be interested in. And you're thinking, well, there are things you want to do that you're right now putting to the side. Certain experiences, certain chances to go to certain concerts or events or plays or whatever it is. And you're not doing that thing because you're waiting for this woman to agree to possibly go out with you. And in the process of that, you're not really looking at, does this woman actually even want to spend that kind of time with me? Does that woman want to spend intimate time one-on-one with me going to a major event? And then what's that going to signal to her? And then is she going to want to feel those things if she doesn't want that to be a thing, Because taking a woman to a concert is a big deal. I took a woman one time as a first date to a Beyonce concert, okay? Like, she knew I was doing that to try to impress her, even though at the time she was like, well, do I need to pay my part? I was like, no, I want to take you on an actual date, and we ain't got to do no physical stuff afterwards. This is just, I want to go to this concert, and I want to take you with me. But she said she wanted to go, and we actually went. So if nothing else, not that we dated long term, but at least there was an interest enough there to where she was like, yes, okay, I'll go to the concert with you. Granted, it was also Beyonce, so that's a whole different story altogether. But the point is this. But this woman back here, she wasn't trying to see me like that. She only saw me as a friend, and she probably subconsciously thought, if he's taking me to a Prince concert, that implies this is a date of some kind. I don't want to agree to something if I'm not trying to date him. But she did not just outright say that. Instead, she made me wait for 4 or 5 days. And so women that are interested will do that. Because they don't want to be mean to you, but they don't want to blow you off, but they don't want to do something that they're not wanting to do. Okay. all that to say this is why it's important. Again, you have to live your life as you're living it. And if there's things that come up that you want to do and you ask another person, they're saying like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, well, let me see or whatever. You have to, in that moment, make the decision to still do the thing. Even if you're hoping that this woman will say, yes, she wants to go, you have to be like, you know what? I'm going to this thing. If you want to go, let me know, but I'm not going to miss out, because what you don't want to do is what I did, which is miss out on an opportunity to do something simply because you're hoping that this woman is going to say yes to you. If it's not a hell yes, if it's not a definitive, oh, I absolutely want to go with you, if it's anything other than that, if it's a maybe of some kind, it is most likely a no. And you don't want to wait on women that are giving you these maybe or no answers, because you're going to be annoyed later on when they say no to the thing or say, oh, I'm too busy or something came up, and you're now missing out on a great opportunity that you could have taken. Okay. So just take the lesson from me. Don't do like I did and miss out on the chance to see Prince in concert because you're waiting on a woman or anybody else that's coming to town or whatever. Okay. Do the things you're going to do. And eventually there'll be a woman that'll say, yes, I want to go, and you'll have a great time. But I've also learned that you don't want to do any majorly big events on those first few dates, because those things signal to women that you're already way more into them than they're ready to feel yet. And so that's why you want to keep your first few dates to like dinners, to walks, to things that aren't going to cost you a lot of money and don't take up a lot of time. Okay. Because women don't want to do these big events and they think they owe you something at the end of it. So hopefully that will help you guys out. Hope you guys have learned from my story. All right. So now we're going to get into the meat of the show, which is how to tell the difference between a woman that is interested in you and a woman that is simply stringing you along. Now, this is a very important thing for you guys to know, because as you heard with the last story that I just told, it can be very hard as a guy sometimes to tell when your interest is so high that you're not quite able to really see what's going on. And so you might have a woman that you feel is showing you signals, saying certain things to you, or doing things that indicate that she has a high interest. But again, you don't want to be blindsided, because in the process of looking, you might be so highly interested that you don't really, you're missing signals that actually indicate that she's really not all that interested and that she's just wanting you for attention. She's using you just for dinners. And so to help rectify that, I'm going to give you the 7 ways to tell if a woman is highly interested versus if she's just there to take up some time while she's waiting for somebody else to come along. Okay. So I have them on my iPad up here. So first thing is, a woman that is interested in you will push you for definite dates and times when discussing possible future plans. And so what I mean by that is that, let's say you're talking to a woman and you say, hey, we should go out for dinner sometime. We should go to some event sometime. If she's saying like, oh, sure, that'd be great. Oh, that sounds fun. Oh, that'd be awesome. But she's not actually pushing to say, hey, so when are we going to do it? What time are we going to do it? What day? These are the days that I'm available. I live in this part of town. If she's not giving you anything that indicates that she's actually trying to like narrow down a day and time for you guys to go, then most likely she's just in this for attention. She likes the fact that a guy likes her enough to ask her out, and she will allow you to keep asking her out and never meet up with you. So if they're not pushing you to set a definite day and time, that's your first major clue that she might not be as interested in you as you think she is. Okay. That's the first one. The second way to tell if a woman is interested is that you actually end up meeting with her in person. So beyond just setting the definitive date and time, it's one thing to set the date. It's another thing for the woman to actually show up on the date. So when you set a day and time and then you go to the spot you're supposed to meet and she shows up, that is already a great sign, because many women will act like they're interested in person. And then when you go away and you try to meet up with them and they don't show up, they're like, oh, something came up, oh, I'm busy, flake, whatever. But the point is, she's not showing up. Women that like you are going to, at the very, very least, show up. And rarely also with women that actually meet up with you, you will never hear the excuse of I'm busy. Like, women that want to meet up with you will always make time for you. I don't care if they're in law school. I don't care if they're a doctor. I don't care if they have 3 or 4 kids at home and they're running around all the time. A woman that likes you is going to make the time to see you because she wants you to know that you are important enough to her to actually do that in person. All right. That's the second one. The third way to tell if a woman is interested in you versus stringing you along is you get no kind of pushback on these dates when you're making physical moves. And this is a great way to test to see if a woman's just there for the free meal versus if she's there for you. And it might not necessarily be on the first date, but usually like the second, third date, those are the dates when the kissing starts to happen. Sometimes like the heavy makeout sessions happen. Sometimes you might even get a hookup out of it. But the point is, on those dates, when you're going for these moves, a woman that is interested in you is going to let you kiss her because she actually wants to kiss you back. Or if you're doing certain touches, you try to like touch her on the arm, well, she's going to touch you on the arm. She's going to try to hold your hand. She's going to be doing these things that allow for tactile touch to happen. If you're going for these simple moves early on and she's backing up, like you're trying to reach for her hand and she backs it away, you go for a kiss and she turns and gives you the cheek, well, that should tell you that she's probably not as highly interested in you as you may have thought she was. That's the third thing. The fourth way to tell if a woman is interested in you versus stringing you along is at some point, if you've been dating her long enough or you're with her long enough, she's going to want a title. I mean, she's going to be called the girlfriend. She's going to want a nickname of some kind. As you guys are dating longer and longer, she's going to want to be the fiance. She's going to want the title of wife. Women that like you are going to be pushing for these titles. This is why I tell you guys that there's no need for you to bring up the, hey, so what are we conversation. If you're dating a girl for 2 to 3 months and she's really feeling you, then by the third month, she's going to start asking those questions. Hey, what are we? So am I just somebody you're dating? Is it possible for us to become boyfriend and girlfriend? She's going to want a title established that separates her from other women that are in your life. If a woman is dating you for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months and is not at any time pushing for some kind of title, she might not be interested. She might just be stringing you along for your resources, for the free meals and for whatever. But the fact that she's not pushing to separate herself out from these other women that are your friends or relatives or whatever, that's a very telling signal that indicates that she may not be as interested as you thought she was. So that is the fourth thing. The fifth way to tell if a woman is highly interested versus if she's just stringing you along is she gives to you as much as you give to her, meaning she's not just in this to take from you. After about really the second or third date, a woman that is highly interested is going to start trying to let you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that she actually is in this for the long haul and is in it for you. And that's when she'll start suggesting dates. That's when she'll start saying, hey, babe, I saw this thing at the store and I just thought of you. And here's this thing. She'll come to you and say, hey, babe, what is it that I can do for you? You do so much for me and I appreciate it, but I want to know what I can do for you. What is your love language? What things do you like to eat in the morning? Like simplistic stuff like that. A woman that likes you is going to want to give back. A woman that's just in it for herself and just stringing you along, you're going to be giving and giving and giving. And she might say, oh, thank you here. That's so nice of you there. That's so lovely there. But she's not trying to give to you, whether that's, gift stuff or even in the bedroom, they get stingy where it's like, you satisfy them and then they don't want to do anything or even ask any questions about what possibly satisfy you. Like women that like you are going to do this because they want to give, because again, they want you to know that they're there for you. So that way you'll continue to see them in a good light. So that's the fifth way. The sixth way to tell if a woman is highly interested versus if she's stringing you along is she will eventually start to bring you around her friends and family versus hiding you away. You see, a woman that likes you wants other people to know that you are in her life. And so to that end, she will start pushing for couples dates. She will start pushing to bring you to parties around her friends. And I know as an introvert, that's going to be a thing you got to negotiate in terms of how often that's going to happen or how long you're going to stay at these things. And I did a show previously about how you can talk about meeting the girls you're dating's friends before you go there so you can get a better read on how to meet people with her help. That's another show altogether. But the point is, you're going to be important enough to her to where she's going to want to bring you around her friends and her family. A woman that is just trying to use you, she might come to your place for a hookup here and there, whatever, but she ain't telling nobody about you. She ain't telling her family. She ain't telling her friends. Every time she goes to see you, she's making up some excuse like, oh, I'm going to the office. I'm going to dinner someplace, whatever, but they're not mentioning your name. And that's a very bad sign. That means you are basically like her dirty little secret. And I don't know about you, but I do not want to be any woman's dirty little secret. If we're dating and I'm spending money on her, people need to know. So a woman that likes you is aware of that. And also, again, she likes the fact that she can show off that somebody actually likes her back too. So she will bring you around her friends and family. Okay. That is the sixth way. And finally, the seventh way to tell if a woman is highly interested versus if she is just stringing you along, very, very important, is that you will never, ever see or hear about her flirting with other guys, especially in front of you. Some dudes, man, some of you dudes out there, you have women that you're talking to and you go to like a bar or something like that. Next thing you know, she's like laughing at the guy at the bar and she's letting him get her a drink and stuff. And dude, I'm telling you, like, I know this dating thing can seem hard, but something simple as that. Women that like you do not flirt with other men. They don't have Instagram or Facebook accounts where they're trying to show off themselves in the tightest outfits and dresses. They're not posting every day about, oh, how do I look cute? She's not allowing comments from other guys that leave comments like, oh, you're so cute, or you look sexy or hot, to thrive on her page. Like, because women that like you don't want to accidentally do anything that could give you the impression that she's either going after another guy or that she's continuing to try to get other men's attention. All right. The women that are doing that, they're out there looking for the bigger, better deal, which means you are the standby guy. You are the standby guy that she's using as a means to show that other guys still find her attractive, and she's using you for attention, but she's also using it to beacon to other guys that, hey, I am desirable. See, this guy likes me. So please come over here and like me also, and I'll flirt with you and whatever to get your attention. And then I'll leave this guy for you if you're better, have more money, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So again, just to recap, these are the 7 ways to tell if a woman is highly interested versus if she's stringing you along. Number 1, she pushes for definite dates and times. Number 2, you actually get to meet up with her in person. No flakes. No, I'm busy, this or that. 3, she says, 3, you get no kind of pushback when you're trying to make physical moves, you're kissing, you're touching, etc. Number 4, inevitably, she's going to be asking for a title. Number 5, she gives to you as much as you give to her. Number 6, she brings you around her friends and family at some point. No, not early on. Not like usually the first 2 or 3 months, but once you guys are solidified and you guys are in a relationship, usually she'll start bringing you around more. Okay. So don't expect that to happen in the first 2 or 3 months. Honestly, it should not. Okay. It's too much too soon. And number 7 is that she never ever flirts with other guys in your presence. Okay. If your woman is doing these 7 things, then there's a good chance that she is really into you and she is not stringing you along. And if you need more tips on how to really read those kind of signals and what to do when she's showing you signals so you can make the right moves and keep her interested, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, check out my ebooks, check out my programs, and I got a lot of other materials there that are designed to help you with these kinds of situations. All right. So that ends that part of the show. And lastly, guys, now we're going to answer a question of the day. And by the way, if you have a question that you'd like for me to answer, one, if you're watching this stream, you can actually leave a question in the chat, but also you can write to me at harrywilmington@gmail.com. You can also leave a comment under any of my videos and I will read it and answer it on one of these shows. Okay. So let's go ahead and answer a question from the day. And this comes from a guy that I was actually talking to on Reddit. He had sent me a message about a situation and I coached him on some of that. By the way, I also do have one-on-one coaching available at the website. You go to introvertdatingsuccess.com/coaching. You can see what the coaching's all about and sign up for that if you feel so inclined to have me help you with your dating situation. Because I have a lot of free stuff on the website and a lot of free stuff on YouTube, but there's nothing that substitutes having somebody to keep you accountable and really be able to get into your specific situation to help you out. All right. So this guy's question, I'm going to pull this up here. This is the question. Now I'll answer as I go through it. Okay. So the question he says, this girl and I went to Oxford University this year for a 1-year graduate degree program. She giggles at all of my jokes. She uses lots of emojis. She turns on her camera whenever I spoke during class. She responds to me at midnight. She imitates a lot of what I say and do. To make a long story short, we were texting over the winter during lockdown. She asked me if I was going to stay in England over spring, whether I was going to stay for another year, and as to when I could hear back. I told her I would be coming back, and I asked if she was coming back to campus. She didn't respond, and she had told me previously things were hectic at home. No one else heard from her either, and she didn't come back to campus. After a few times of trying and not hearing anything, I asked her if I could say bye to her. Weird. And she said, when are you leaving before or after exams? And I gave her the date of when I was leaving, and she didn't respond again. What should I do to keep the line of communication going? She is very shy and introverted, so I'm giving her space, but I hope to talk to her when I go back to England. She's English, and I'm American. With the stuff about imitating me, I noticed that she remembers everything that I say. Like I said, a comment at the beginning of the year in class, and she brought it up like 6 months later. I didn't even recall it initially. She was dating someone before I came into the picture too. I'm not really looking for romance right now, as I'm hoping to establish a close bond with the potential for more. She seems on and off about it, so I'm looking for tips on how to communicate with her better. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here, so we'll go bit by bit through this. Okay, so for starters, again, like I said earlier in the show, sometimes when we have high interest, we project that onto women, and we're reading into stuff that we're hoping means that they like us because our interest is so high. And sometimes the signals, quote unquote, that women are sending are actually just her being friendly. And I know on the women's side of things, they have a hard time because it seems to them like every single guy that they're trying to be just friendly with in a friend's way, men take as, oh, this person must like me now. And it's very, very hard to distinguish between the two for guys. So to the point when he was saying like, oh, she uses emojis and talking, she giggles at my jokes, she responds to me at midnight, blah, blah, blah. To me, all that just sounded like stuff friends would do. Like I have plenty of guy friends also that if I were to call them at midnight, they'd pick up, they'd laugh at my jokes. That does not necessarily mean that the woman likes you. The only real way you can actually tell if a woman is on some level thinking about possibly dating you or likes you on some level is to ask for a date. So beyond all these, I'm saving you time, guys. So no longer do you have to spend months on end. I've been flirting. I've been laughing, telling her jokes, and she's been laughing at them. She's been, next to me in class, and I thought I saw her scooch her chair to me one time, or we were walking one day, and she pointed out that my shirt looked really cute. What does this mean? All that can go away with one simple thing. When you ask her on a one-on-one date, does she say yes or no? And that's really it. Like, that's really the simplest solution is ask that question. And if she'll either say, oh, that'd be great, let's go on a date, or she'll give you any kind of excuse in the world that means no. Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I can't. Oh, I just see you. All that means is I'm saying no passively, but please don't ask me anymore. All right. It just gets rid of all the clutter. It gets rid of you having to deal with a woman for months on end trying to figure her out. All right. Continuing, he says that they were texting during lockdown. So this is another thing guys do. So he says that he asked her a question and then she didn't answer back. But then he uses an excuse of, oh, but she has a hectic lifestyle and she didn't text anybody else back either. So it's not just me. And my response to that is, but if she liked you, would she not respond to your text? Like, it's really that simple. Like, I have yet to have a woman that I've dated that was highly interested in me not respond back to a text. Oh, there may be a delay. I may text at like 8:30 at night and they've already gone to bed and they don't answer me that night, but best your butt the next morning. They're saying, hey, I fell asleep. What's going on? Or here's the answer to your question. And I'm going to follow up with another question. Because women that like you, as I've said this whole show so far, women that like you are not going to do things to push you away or to give you the impression that they don't like you. So think about it. If a woman likes you, even if she didn't respond back to everybody else, would she still respond back to you if she was highly interested and wanted you to know that you were still in her circle? Pretty simple, right? So you can't make the excuse of, oh, just you making excuses for yourself does not help you in your dating life. So you saying, oh, I'm going to give her, there's got to be an excuse why she didn't text me back. Well, the bottom line is she didn't text you back. And it wasn't that she didn't text you back that day. It's that weeks have gone by and she didn't text you back. The phone works both ways. She got your message. She's not texting you back because you're not high enough of importance to her to want to text back. That's just the bottom line. I explained it to this guy. And so when he says the thing of what should I do to keep the lines of communication going, you can't. Like, texting, you need to treat texting like it's a volleyball game. You send your text over the net, and now you got to wait for her to send hers back. If she likes you enough or decides she wants to talk to you again, she will send a text back. But it's not going to work is you trying to text her over and over again saying, hey, text me. Hey, I'm going to leave university soon. Like, when can I say bye to you? Hey, blah, blah. Like, none of that's going to help you to push her into thinking that, oh, you know what? He texted me 10,000 times. I need to text him back. She has a phone. It works. She's making a choice not to text you back. So the only thing you can do is wait. In the meantime, go live your life. You said also that you weren't trying to look for a relationship, but here's the thing. Because guys that say that, it really irks me when the guys will say on one hand, well, I just want to mess with her. I don't want to have a relationship. I just want a few hookups and maybe some cuddling. And then maybe we can go out and hang out together and do things. But I don't want it to be like a dating thing. And I don't want it to be a relationship. Then why are you wasting your time? If you legitimately see this woman as, I don't see her as the person I want to be in a relationship with, then why are you expunging all this energy to spend time with the person that you're not allegedly trying to get with? Like, that makes no sense. And especially when you're writing me a message where you're asking about this woman, she's not talking to me, she's not, let me say bye to her, yada, yada, yada. So you're saying all that, but then saying, oh, but I don't want a relationship. But it bothers you that she's not talking to you. It bothers you that you're not able to hang out with her. It bothers you that all this stuff's happening, but you don't want a relationship. Then why waste your time? You could be, the time you're spending trying to figure out how to get this woman to talk to you is time you could be spending with a woman that would actually text you back, call you back, go on a date with you, touch you, hook up with you, want a title, etc., etc. So don't waste your time, guys. I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 next year, okay? If one thing I've learned is that time is very finite. We only have a small amount of it. And so every year that you waste chasing after women that aren't highly interested, that are giving you the runaround, that are flaking on you, and that also, you're not really interested in, is more and more time that you're wasting, not potentially getting with somebody that could be the love of your life. And you could be bypassing that person right now because she's looking at you wondering why you're going after this girl that you don't like, and she could have been the one, but she's like, he's going after her, so I guess I don't need to be in the picture or try to let myself known to him, okay? So recognize that that's happening, okay? Women that like you will show you that they like you. It's very, very simple. Women that are not texting you, that are not trying to get you to have a title, that are not doing things I talked about earlier, these are the women that you don't need to be spending time on, because you could be a guy that actually gets with women that like him if you just spend a little bit more time, okay? Don't think that there's a finite amount of women. There are a plethora of women out there that are single, ready to mingle, and are ready to actually give you the attention that you want if you would only give them the attention as well, all right? So hopefully this helped answer this guy's question. So that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for checking in with this episode of the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. As always, these shows are ultimately about helping you guys. So if you have any questions, any kind of comments you want to leave, you can leave it. If you're watching a YouTube video, you can leave those comments down below. If you want to write to me to have me answer one of your questions on this show, you can write to me at harrywilmington@gmail.com. This is available as a podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think they still have Google Play. Like, you can find my podcast pretty much anywhere if you want to do a re-listen. And of course, I'll be posting the 3 segments of this podcast into their own videos during the course of the week. So be sure to look out for those as well. And that's it. Be sure to go to introvertdatingsuccess.com to check out my ebooks, audiobooks, and other things as well. If you like this video, do me a favor, okay? If nothing else, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like it, share with others. It costs you nothing to do that, but it definitely helps me out. Right now, I'm at 500 followers, which I'm very excited about, and I'm trying to get to 1,000. So if you're watching this video and you like it, at the very least, subscribe, and be sure to go to the website to get some of those awesome freebies that I talked about earlier. All right? Thank you guys so much for watching this broadcast. I will catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.